Hello, guys, and well, it's one of those days where you have to take a bow to the king, King Kohli, and his 100. I mean, that was just an exemplary performance. I mean, it's been said about him so many times now. Cometh the man, cometh the hour, cometh the man, and Virat Kohli's been that. He's probably set out his best for the best possible moment for RCB. That was just some short selection. I mean, that was just, it was like highlights of a player's career put together in one innings. Virat Kohli played every possible shot he could, and he took RCB home. The most important win for them, you would have to say today, and that's really put them in pole position now to end up at the top spot. And I think Tejas says it rightly so. What have we witnessed? Two centuries, the first time ever in the history of Indian Premier League to have two centuries from two different teams in two different innings. Incredible, incredible. Yeah, I think I agree as well. I think for me, this has to be his best 100 ever. And I'll tell you why. I think it's also the occasion and the kind of setting that was how he had struggled against Sunrisers in the past, especially that. I mean, the last time we faced them, you guys remember what had happened to what had happened to Kohli as well. So I think it was Marco Jansen who became the only left-arm pacer, by the way, to dismiss Virat Kohli in Indian Premier League, surprisingly. But incredible, incredible comeback from him. I have with me Abel. Abel, you look a little too calm for what has just happened.
Firstly, it's a big win, man. I mean, I told you, right? I don't take things like I don't go uproar over things. I'm very happy this normalcy of Virat Kohli. 4 years we waited for Test 100, 4 years we waited for an IPL 100, and it is here now. So it's we can say the whole circle is completed. He scored 100 in every possible format and every possible place possible. So that's very nice for us, for Indian team fans as well. So that hoodoo of 100 jinx, everything is now put out and set aside. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, Sunrisers haven't always been a great opposition for Virat Kohli to play against. Even in the 2016 season, when he had a very good season, he really struggled against one team. Um, that was Sunrisers Hyderabad, and I remember that primarily because I think he scored a 70 odd in that first match where he took Sunrise. After that, he fell apart against Sunrise. So I mean, a very big team and a very important game. So more than that, it's a very weird game for me. I know you saw Klaasen score a flawless 100, one of the best hundreds I've seen of this year. After Virat Kohli scoring it in chases, then Virat Kohli really said it. Virat Kohli got going, and Faf really supported him. I mean, you have to talk about their partnership this season. I mean, it's been something like Rutu and Faf in 2021, where these both are scoring runs in excess of 500 odd runs, and that's what you want. And that's what he's done it so perfectly. And Faf breaching 700 run mark as well. So if you ask
Yeah.
me personally, to talk about this, I'm very ecstatic about this win because primarily this win came at the right time. If you would have lost today, you don't know, things would have been extremely complicated, and today you won very comfortably, and that is a very good thing. I mean, good toss to win from Faf du Plessis as well, because I was very skeptical at the end of first innings as to whether the pitch is going to break down. The pitch was holding out a lot
Hmm.
as well. Maybe that's one of the reasons why this run chase is even more special, because it wasn't an easy pitch to bat. Let's be very honest about
Yeah.
it. It was a very sticky surface, and there these two brought their A game, made it look like it's a very comfortable chase. And remember, the boundaries are big in Uppal Stadium in Hyderabad as well. So for me personally, yeah, I would have to say one of the best after that 100 which he scored against Punjab. It has to be. But for me, what holds very close to my heart is also the 100 which he scored against Gujarat. What is that team called? Gujarat Lions. Yeah, Gujarat Lions.
Gujarat
Gujarat Lions.
Lions, yes.
Uh, Gujarat
Yeah.
Lions in 2016 on the Green Day. That was also a very special 100. But yeah, Punjab with the broken thumb. No, that split webbing has to be one of my favorite.
I mean, this is at least, if not the best, the one of the best out there. I mean, it comes not just Virat Kohli's hundreds, but one of the best knocks out there. Because as you mentioned, Abel, the pitch was a very difficult one to play at. But surprisingly enough, now let's talk about Sunrisers and their bowling, right? What do you think was? I mean, do you think this bowling lineup was something that you yourself would put up in an IPL match? Because very surprised I felt at this bowling lineup, because I think you look at the options that they had, most of them were part timers, and then you had a Nitish Reddy who was a young player. Do you felt that there was a lack of, I mean, I genuinely felt there was a lack of I mean, how do you say it? Variety, lack of quality. Really, I do not understand why not someone like Marco Jansen not play today, or even an Umran Malik could have been a good candidate in today's pitch.
Yeah, I mean, Jaren, if you ask me personally, this was a bowling lineup very close to what I put out initially for Sunrisers Hyderabad, because I felt Sunrisers, if they go with a strong Indian bowling core, that's going to really help them to have a very strong foreign middle order. And today you saw them scoring close to 190 odd runs with that foreign middle order, and I was not far wrong away from saying that maybe add Markande to this bowling attack and also bring Umran Malik instead of Nitish. That would have been my ideal bowling attack for Sunrisers Hyderabad with Natraj and Bhuvi, Karthik Tyagi and Umran Malik. That was my quartet of paces for Sunrisers Hyderabad initially when I predicted the initial playing 11 of Sunrisers Hyderabad, and I would have added maybe a leggy in Mike Markande. But other than that, Mike Dagger did a good job. He is coming off a very good domestic season as well. With Himachal,
Yeah.
he did help them to go to the final and everything else. So you have to credit Mike Dagger there. But other than that, I did not find a lot of penetration from any of their bowlers. I mean, I did not know what it was. It just looked like Faf and Virat were batting so flawlessly. Even some of the good balls they put it away. They were trying to drive it. Some of the good shots they played. So that's what I personally think. There was a small occasion in the middle overs where the ball was turning a little bit. Other than that, I just did not find anything out of the bowling. I don't know if to blame the bowling or is it to appreciate the batters, because it was far from Virat on the other end. Not a lot of when they are in song. Not no. I don't think any bowling attack in the world could possibly challenge them when they are in song. Let's be very honest about that as well. And to add to that, maybe Faf would have lost his wicket if that was not a no ball. Maybe things would have been slightly more closer. Why I say that is because in these kind of chases, right? If you lose a wicket of your supporting partner, any new batter walking in would find it extremely difficult. And that's when I think that was a game changing moment for me to an extent. And after that wicket, Virat Kohli really took the attack on. Virat Kohli was like, okay, I'll take now. And then Bhuvaneshwar Kumar's 20 run over also came right after that. Then it was just Virat Kohli on absolute song, just trying to toy around with ballers. And that's what we've seen.
My brother is literally, I think, yeah, I'll take this one from Priyanka as well. Yeah, I think it's time we all have to bow down to Virat Kohli, the king. Commiserations to your brother, Teju. And yeah, I think we have to also talk about that last 2 overs from, I think it was Wayne Parnell who balled that second 19th over. See, I think 19th over from Wayne Parnell and the last over from Mohammad Siraj that really snuffed the momentum out of that Sunrise Hyderabad team. I mean, I know in hindsight you would say that it didn't matter or it wouldn't have mattered, but then I felt that gave that bit of momentum to RCB because throughout the chase it looked like Hyderabad are going to cross the 200 mark threshold, but then that last 2 overs came from two of the bowlers who probably did not have the best day. I mean, especially not Siraj, but at least someone like Wayne Parnell who did not have his best day. You would have to say that that was a turning point, or at least slight shift in momentum.
I mean, I'll have to agree with that because that last 2 overs, rather, even Harshal Patel's over was not bad. I think last 3 overs, Parnell,
Harshal Patel is the one
Harshal
who got the
Patel,
last over. Yeah.
and also even to Siraj. This could have been 200. I mean, to contain them to 187 was a phenomenal job, and Siraj bowling that 4 run over towards the end was just the icing on the cake. Even Harshal Patel, I know you consider 6 there, but then in death overs when you're trying to contain anything, if you're going anything less than 13 or 12, I think those are good overs. And Parnell also bowled a 7 run over there. So that's why I personally think RCB did a phenomenal job from overs number 17 to 20 because RCB were leaking a lot of runs, especially from the spin front. Khan Sharma and also with Bracewell, okay, did ball well, but even Shahbaz Ahmed did go for a lot of runs towards the lateral end. So that's why RCB wanted
Yeah.
pacers to step in and do that containing job, and they did that perfectly. I mean, if you look in the larger scheme of things, except from Andre Klassen, and you can say Harry Brook as well, nobody really got into that party. If you just remove Andre Klassen from that innings, Sunrisers would have been extremely struggling. I mean, that's where I felt the pitch was tough, and this guy was batting on another surface altogether.
Absolutely. Well said there because it does seem like Heinrich Clausen was on another universe. But let's talk about that as well, right? I mean, this is going to be one thing that's going to be ignored a lot because we've had match winning 100 from Virat Kohli, and it's not often that when a match winning 100 from Kohli comes, you can't stop speaking about it. But Heinrich Klaasen came at number 4 today for them. He's just been a revelation, isn't it, for towards the end of that season. They tried everyone today, and as you rightly mentioned, we did speak about how a foreign middle order is probably the best way to go when it comes to Sunrise Hyderabad. But this guy has just been on absolute fire. He's had one of the best strike rates against spin bowling, and that's been one of his strengths, especially on the ground that they have that. Hyderabad is provided. He scored at an average of 46 and a strike rate of 172. That is an impossible combination to have in T20 cricket.
Absolutely, Jen. I was just looking at some of the stats right now as well. For Hendrik Klaasen, this season has been one silver lining for Sunrise Hyderabad. Next season, when they make a team for Sunrise Hyderabad, one player they'll put right on top of the list is Hendrik Klaasen. Because in a season where there's been so many inconsistent performers, including their own captain, Aiden Markram, let's talk about Harry Brook for their liking, Mayank Agarwal, Rahul Tripathi, just one player every now and then steps up, looks like he's going to make things happen, and that's been Hendrik Klaasen. And this was a deserving 100. I mean, how often do you appreciate a losing 100 in such magnitude? And that's where I think he gave his all, and it's unfortunate, like, his team has ended up in a win, in a losing cause because there was another 100 from another great player there. So that's been the tale of the two stories today. But I have to admit, I was in awe of the 100, primarily because of the way in which he played spin. I mean, Hendrik Klaasen has to be one of the best players of spin in IPL history from by an overseas batter. I've not seen someone play spin so well. He's got this Surya stick kind of ability to take spinners over cover, take them, go on the back foot and cream them over mid wicket. I mean, his majority of the shots come on the back foot, take them over take them in the gap between long off and mid wicket, and that's so good. I mean, he anticipates the ball to drop one in the front, and he comes down the track and hits them. But other than that, he drops back on the back foot. That minor bit of room, that's what he needs. If you drop the ball even slightly bit shorter, you're gonna travel for a six, and that's been Hendrik Klaasen's biggest strength the entire season. And even in the game against Lucknow Super Giants, where they came extremely close, I think he was really giving it a try. Even the game against Gujarat Titans, what they're liking. He has been a lone warrior. Lone warrior, if there was a definition for any team, and this guy is the guy. I mean, I don't think Sunrisers will ever sell him off,
Yeah.
and he looks like one for the future. I mean, wherever he's going to play, even for South Africa now, all of a sudden they're going to be like, the World Cup is in India, and we need Hendrik Klaasen right there, because I think he's going to make a major difference for South Africa if he's going to come in at number 4 in the World Cup and do this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think Tejas already said the best spin hitter of South Africa, and yeah, I think this is what really works for him. He's got a stable base, and yeah, he picks up the length really well. That's what you see some of the foreign batters struggle against spin in India, where they tend to struggle to pick that right length. You've seen batters play on the back foot a lot. More, for example, someone like Phil Salt. I was looking at the other day where he was playing every ball on the back foot, hoping that he can counter the turn, or he has enough time to counter the turn. On the other hand, what I really like about Hendrik Klaasen is he knows the length, he picks it up so quickly, and then you have no chance, regardless of where or which direction you turn the ball, because it just seems that much more difficult to get away with when it comes to bowling against Hendrik Klaasen. But yeah, I think
Absolutely.
let's also talk about now how the table is going to look, isn't it? Um,
Yeah.
what Chennai,
I mean, before we pull
LSG,
the
and
table
MI
out,
needed.
I just want to say Steju has got a very good point. I just saw the comment, and I think already the best spin hitter of South Africa. I think the best spin hitter of South Africa, even better than AB de Villiers, I'll say. Um, I know it's a big call coming from an RCB guy, but I would have to say he picks up spin better than anybody else. Man, I've not seen any overseas batter in IPL history, for that matter, pick up spin so well. And I think that has to do a lot with his wicket keeping skills as well. He's a wicket keeper, so he understands the bowlers and their variations, and that really matters the most. Give me, if you can help me out, tell me how many overseas batters have you seen in IPL history or come to India and play spin with that assurance. I think he plays spin better than is playing space, and that's a good thing. I mean, if you have someone like that in the middle overs for South Africa in the World Cup, I'm just looking from a World Cup perspective because Sunrisers are done and dusted for this season. And from a World Cup perspective, I think he's going to be the deciding factor for South Africa in games like this when it's like going to be a tiebreaker. Him and Miller in the middle overs are going to be a major deciding factor for South Africa in the World Cup, I believe. But yeah, let's look into the table meanwhile to understand where things stand and what are the possibilities of the teams, because Sandipani is not here primarily because he knows KK are done and dusted now. He wanted RCB to lose, and it ain't happening, bro.
Yeah, I think he sort of gotten eliminated from this live or excused himself from this live after KKR excused themselves from the tournament.
I
Um,
think they can win if they win by 150 odd runs against LSG. So which
you
is
never
not
know. LA is
impossible.
wearing their special Mohan
Yeah,
Bagan jersey.
I mean
Who
that's
knows?
I don't
Go
want to get
play
into
in the
that
hands of
marketing
Kolkata.
gimmick. What they're trying to do to get Kolkata fans to support them by wearing Mohan Bagan colors, and because
Not
Goenka
gonna,
owns Mohan Bagan, and it's going to be Mohan
not
Bagan
gonna
Super
work.
Giants, unfortunately, from next season. Unfortunately, that remember the name I'm taking. Unfortunately, because ridiculously naming them Mohan Bagan Super Giants is just a tarnish on that club in itself. Because a wonderful club for football, naming the Mohan Bagan Super Giants is not the right way to go about it. But yeah, they're
Absolutely.
going to be wearing the maroon and green, which I respect, but not the team that should be wearing that. Yeah, but let's look at the table meanwhile, right? Let's look
But
at
yeah,
the
let's
table
look at the
meanwhile.
table now. So, MI have been now pushed out of that top four spot. You imagine just 2 matches ago we were talking about how MI could be a potential top two with Gujarat, but that's how this
Uh-huh.
tournament has gone, and now it becomes even more pertinent for CSK to win that match against Delhi Capitals. And I'll be very honest, very, very, very petrified because that team is peaking at the right time. The Delhi Capitals team, they look like they're
Not peaking, they're
not under
just
any sort of
blowing
pressure.
at the wrong time for other teams.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's also a very good way to say it. I just hope that that whole old monkey on the back that Arun Jaitley Stadium has been for them comes back to haunt them, so that CSK can do better because CSK has had a good record at Firozshah Kotla and or as it's known Arun Jaitley Stadium because of that
Yeah.
slow nature of that pitch. But yeah, I think but even then that's going to be one interesting one that we're going to be seeing. I think this Saturday, if I'm not wrong, and tomorrow is the match between.
It's between Rajasthan and Punjab, and that looks like a dead rubber to me at this point of stage because
Yeah, it
okay,
does.
I
It
know
does.
If Rajasthan wins tomorrow by a good margin, they kind of replace RCB in the top four for a brief moment or so. Then they'll have to really hope Mumbai loses. Then they'll have to really hope you know RCB doesn't win, which is possible, which is still possible, guys. That's why I think it is a dead rubber to an extent for Punjab. I mean, Punjab are almost out. I mean, I don't think Punjab is going to turn this around and they have to beat Rajasthan by a long margin. But I still fancy Rajasthan doing that so because see, it's a funny game, this IPL, right? Because if Rajasthan wins by good 30-41 margin tomorrow or finishes the game in 18 overs, I think the net run rate creeps up to 1.90. Then what happens? They might just topple RCB. Then they'll hope Mumbai loses and RCB loses. Then they can get into the playoff all of a sudden. So, because their net run rate has been extremely good from the start of the IPL, even after losing so many games, they've not fallen to negative. So that's been one positive factor. But then Punjab, if they decide to spoil RR completely, and if they have any hopes of qualifying, then that's it. That's done and dusted. So tomorrow's game is very important, that liking. But yeah, talking about which, if RCB, so there are different possibilities now. If Chennai wins by a good amount of margin, and they can possibly see the top two. If LSD wins by a good amount of margin, they can see a good top two.
Yeah,
So that is between them if they both win in that kind of scenario. Because I think LSD plays second, Chennai plays first. So LSD will have a target in mind. If Chennai wins already, LSD will know by how many margin to win to
yeah,
get
they
into
do.
the
They do.
top two. But if they both end up losing, and if RCB wins, they end up in top two. So that's a different scenario altogether. And then for Mumbai, so then what happens is
Yeah,
then what happens is the Chennai or LSD, whoever lost in a better margin, they might just have to go out of the tournament if Mumbai wins there. So there's a lot of things heating up. I'm
yeah,
just trying to be like this professor, trying to give you different permutations and combinations. I'm just hoping, say, Rajasthan can also make it if they win tomorrow by a good amount of margin, then hope Mumbai and RCB lose, which is quite a possibility. Let's all remember that. Um, and then if LSD win by a good amount of margin, they make it to top two. Chennai win by a good amount of margin, they make it to top two. And if Chennai loses and LSD win, they make it to top two, LSG. But if both lose and if someone loses by a larger margin and Mumbai wins, one of them gets out and RCB makes it top two if they win against Gujarat. So these are the permutations and combinations right now. So out of the 8 teams, I can tell you 6 teams are definitely in the hunt, totally in the hunt. Others are almost done and dusted.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, thank you so much, Professor Vergis, for that. And it's pretty well explained. I think you would have been a better professor to me than the one who taught me permutation and combinations. I just hope he's not watching. I don't think he is. I don't think he knows I do this thing. So yeah. Anyway,
Yeah,
that's pretty much it. I think from us for today. It's been a short life, but that's because of how RC made short work of that target of
yeah,
185. Not a lot to talk about because it was just that kind of a game, where it was just pretty straightforward. And
yeah.
but yeah, make sure you
It's
guys
been
do
two good
download and
days.
play. Yeah.
It's been two good
And
days for
make
me
sure you guys.
personally. Because,
Yeah, I think you had a very good day. Earlier in the morning, you had Madrid being thrashed 4-0. Then you had another semi revenge plot where
yeah,
SRH got smacked by RCB. So yeah, good day for you overall. But yeah, that's
I mean,
pretty
I
much it.
would
You
say
could have
so.
a good day as well.
I
Yeah,
mean, let's just hope everything turns out well. RCB makes it top two. I'd be very happy, man, if RCB makes it top two. I don't want top four because we've been making top four. See, Jaren, in the history of IPL, only one team has won after making 3 and 4. That's SRH in 2016. You know, if you get
Chennai
top
is
two,
gonna
you
do well.
kind of. I don't think Chennai has won,
Yeah,
making it top. No, no, they've not. They've not. They've lost in the
they
final
have, they have, they
in
have.
2012.
Is it?
They did not win the IPL. Only one team in the history has made it to from 3 and 4 has gone and won the IPL. That's Sunrisers Hyderabad. No other team in the history has done it. So it's so hard to win three on the bounce and win the IPL because they're all best teams, right? So hard to
Yeah.
go with the momentum. That's T20 cricket as well for you. So if I'm supporting RCB, I'd want RCB in top two. Or else it's hard. I mean, it's not impossible, but it's hard. You all know it. We all have seen that previously. Because if you are in top two, you lose, you have a bad day, you have another chance. People have still gone on to win an IPL after losing the first game. So Mumbai is the best
Yeah.
example in 2017. They lost to Pune in the first qualifier. Then they went on to beat Pune in Hyderabad for the liking in the final after defeating Kolkata in the qualifier number two. So these things keep happening every now and then. So I just want top two. Even 2016, you went to final because you got into top two. So that's one thing which even 2011 we finished top two. 2009, I think there was no top two. It was just semi final. You won that one game and you make it a final. So that's been the difference, Jaren.
Absolutely. I think everyone wants the top two. And if I'm not wrong, the team that's finished second in the top four has always ended up winning the most number of trophies. That I think
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
how it
I
was.
agree with you. I agree with it.
Yeah.
Second team has always done decent job, but I think Mumbai in 2019 and 20 turned it around pretty well. They finished top both the
Yeah,
occasions
they
and they
did.
won.
They did.
Even Chennai in 2021, they finished top of the table
Hmm.
and they won the IPL. So I don't think that's a big issue. I mean, Gujarat last season, so I mean that's not a big factor to consider at all. So,
It's
but
never a
top
big
two is always
factor. You
important.
just need a top two because you need to have that one
You
extra
just need
chance.
top two. But I,
Yeah.
I kind of regret not winning that Lucknow Super Giants game by 1 run now. Even the Chennai Super Kings game. But if RC would have done that, RC would have been sitting so much more comfortable. Like they would have been
Yeah.
having 18 points or something like that. They would have been really sealed. So those are the games I really don't want to look at the end of the season and be like, oh, if you would have finished there and thereabouts, then we would have had a better season. So I really hope RCB wins against Gujarat, and I hope RCB will win because I think Gujarat will rest a lot of players before the playoff in the last game because they've seen a top two position. I see Shami being rested. I see even Hardik maybe being rested because they don't like to
Hardik
use
might be
Hardik.
rested. Yeah.
So even for the
Well,
matter, so a lot of these maybe batters will play, but bowlers, a lot of them will be rested before the IPL final.
especially
IPL,
Hardik Pandya because he does look like he's not 100% because he did not ball the last game as well. And last two games
yeah.
he's not balled if I'm not wrong.
Mm.
So he's not looked 100% with the bat as well. He hasn't been in that form. So maybe that little bit of break before he comes back, being the captain of the side as well. Rashid Khan might as well take over and give Hardik that well-deserved break. To be fair to him.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
yeah, that's pretty much it from us. Make sure you guys do download Boom 11 on Apple App Store and Google Play Store. And yeah, enjoy your risk-free fantasy experience. That's
All
pretty
right,
much it
guys.
from
Good
us.
night.
Good night, guys.